Hello. I'm trying to get set up here. So to stop swinging. Hi. I'm getting you the cutting guide for today. And I'll be right with you guys. I posted it. I can't find it. There we go. Okay, that is the cutting guide for what you're going to see today. And I do want to show you guys, and I want to let you know a couple of things about National Scrapbook Day being a little bit different than like an online crop. I wasn't able to do it like I was going to. I was going to do an online crop, but with everything that's gone on. Hi, Cheryl. I'm so glad you're here, but sorry, I get lotion. I've washed my hands so many times, but everything that's been going on, I can't hold it like a normal crop. As you know, we've cut back employees that work out in the warehouse, and we've kept everybody separate, the family that works, granddaughters, but still I'm having to do it from 7 to about midnight at night, which is not your problem. I totally understand. It's mine because it's my business, but we want to make sure that our service to you was not interrupted. So I didn't get a cutting guide up for you guys, and I'll have to do it this way, and I apologize, but I'm still keeping everything going, the tutorials to keep normalcy for you, even though it's not normal for us at our house. Still cooking dinner and been watching up to 7 grandkids at a time because their parents are having to work. And so it didn't come off as planned, but our designers are being terrific. Some of them are doing projects, some aren't. Their lives are, hi, Debbie. Their lives are the same as all of us. Crazy. So we just have to work together. So I apologize. It's probably not like some of the others that you've paid to go see online. They're charging, and there's reasons they're charging. I totally understand. Hi, C. But I wanted to give you a little rundown as to why mine is a little chaotic. And I also want to talk to you about the cutting guide. So I posted the cutting guide for today, and I'm going to right after post it again. Here's what happens. If you can see how this is kind of formatted, a lot of times if you don't have Microsoft Windows, or you're using a Mac, or you don't have Office, you can't print this that I do to put in the cutting guides into the kits. We don't charge for this, but you buy the kit. So you guys are so sweet. I do apologize though, because I just always want you to know that we're here for you, and that I'm not putting you on the back burner. But sometimes I have to put things like a cutting guide on the back burner, or I have to put, certain things on the back burner. We'll get it. I promise we'll get it. But the cutting guide doesn't always print. So now when we're done today, I will, because I have to now go in and retype this up to post it on the Facebook group so it takes the format. And that is why you didn't see the cutting guide sooner. I didn't get to it, but if you have this cutting guide, and if I did email it out, we had lift some out of the kits. I want you to do something. I want you to number down to where it says inside front cover booklet, because we're going to be doing that. I numbered it 1 through 6, but on number 4, you're going to notice I left off your pages. We have to have pages to make our book, right? So you need pages 6 that are 8 by 12. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to refer to numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's what I posted for you on on the put Sally, if I did put Sally on the cutting board, I mean, on the back burner, I probably no would get more done. No, that's not true. Sally truly is our creative designer for this. I mean, she's the backbone to doing a lot of the things that I can't do or that the designers can't do. She plays such an important role. And then also Tanya. Tanya, which she just messaged me. Yes, I need her. I'm going to be having her. Tanya keeps our address files up for the groups so that we can send out happy mail. And then we also have Amelia. She is helping in our swap. We have a swap group, which is a great group, and it's just running so much smoother with these few little hands. I mean, they're not little hands. These big hands that have jumped in to help us. Hi, Teresa. Oh, hi, Teresa. Oh, Teresa, I can't wait to hug you. I haven't seen you in so long. So as a team, we're working, and sometimes we're working day and night. And I take such a personal responsibility to answer all of you because you need to hear from me, not another person. So Sharon, you should be able to save you know what? Here's the thing. If somebody can help us with that, that's great, because I know I don't have time to always sit down and direct it if you do a PDF, and a lot of people don't understand that, which is okay. So anyway, let's get back. So I want to just kind of walk you through. And I know it seems really funny that we're doing a best year ever, but it really is going to be okay. And I really do want this for memory, like I explained in the walkthrough. So I want to just take you through really quick. There's nothing for January and February. You don't have to use this. You can make this tonight for a gift. You could also use a different paper, because I really do think this will be cute for any paper that you want to use when you're following along with me. And February and March will mirror each other. Hi, Nancy. Oh, hello, TC. There was no mail today. So let me show you what I've done. I've started with March on mine. I circled March 15th, important date in our family. We had an engagement. So I want to show you, I'm not really going really far out with these months like I would if it was a bigger album. But she said yes. And 2 will become 7. There's a story behind my son and soon-to-be daughter-in-law. Again, 11 years ago, they were married. And these twin granddaughters of mine, and there's another one in the back. I was there when she was born. These guys were just babies when my son, and she was actually pregnant. And my son married her, and he became father to these 3 children, but things didn't work out. They were so young. And they went separate ways. My son had another wife, family that ended due to drugs. And he just happened to meet up with her again after 11 years. And they're a family again. We're thrilled to death because this is my daughter's sister-in-law. I know, only in Utah, right? But they've been together now again for 2 years, so 14 years total between them. They knew they both made a mistake, and we're having a wedding in September. And he has his 2 children. She has her 3, so family will become 7. I'm pretty excited. And that was her engagement ring. So I just print these off, and then on the back, because her birthday is also the 16th of March. So these are the things I'm going to pop in here. I have a few more things to add, and I want you to see. And I'm going to put them in my cedar chest. These girls didn't know what a cedar chest is. And then they saw mine, and they saw my wedding dress. They saw Stephen's baby clothes. They even saw I had some baby dresses from them, because I've always they're my granddaughters. When they first married, I was there when the youngest daughter was born. These 2 are identical twins, and they were married when they were just a year old. My son has always taken responsibility for these girls, and it was hard when we lost them. So having them back, I'm so excited. And this just talks about what happened this month. When you're journaling, and you're journaling in something like this that you want to put away to be like a time capsule, That's what I'm looking at this as. Use your real feelings. Just really put your true feelings in here because somebody wants to know what happened, and it's going to be somebody in your family. And if you're like me, I don't really talk my emotions. Can you believe it? But I will write them. So I just talked about it being an exciting month, and it just basically went to hell. What can we say? It went to hell. But there was something that was also amazing to me because we're military. My husband's retired Air Force. I was in the Army. Um, and all my family was military. My dad was Navy, and this picture was just amazing to me when it arrived in California. I mean, in New York. I don't have any pictures of the California one, but this one, Sally had posted. We were watching it that day, and I screenshot it. And then I just talked about the naval ship on March 30th arrived. So this is what I'm looking at this album for. That happened in March, and then I'll go back and find some things for February and add, and it's going to be put away. But I want to continue it as the year goes. So if you don't have the kit, that's okay. Oh, Diane, let me tell you, it's been an emotional for all of us since March, I think. For sure, for sure. But that is the whole idea behind this. And it's also something that is just very simple, very quick, that you're going to be able to journal because it's going to get better. It's going to get so much better. And, there's going to be trials and errors. And I don't want this just to be all the good things in life. But let's go through the kit. So if you have the kit, one thing I want to emphasize inside your kit. And if you don't have the kit, I'm going to put April 19th because April 19th is going to be over here, a little more sunshine. And that's when Dixie came into one of our members' life, Pamela. Actually, this card is going to be for Dixie. I need to print off her picture. Dixie is her new baby beagle, and she lost one of her other beagles. I mean, this is one of our group members. This is how close we become. And yes, Dixie came home on April 19th, and we all waited with anticipation for Pamela to post pictures. And so we had some other members too. Oh my gosh, she just got the new doodle, Labradoodle puppy. So I want to put that in here. Nancy just got a new one, Nancy Dolman. And so I need to put hers in here because I took the pictures. Then I will circle the dates, and then I'll journal as to why they were important. So yes, that's going in here. Don't you worry. I just haven't gotten that far yet. Okay. If you have the kit, it takes a collection kit. So with your collection kit, it doesn't matter what you're going to use. If you want to follow along, this is going to be a fun Natural Scrapbook Day album. Plus, we have some more kits. And I did post a discount code just for our group on new orders. So you're going to have one sheet of every month. Okay. And the thing is, when I say one sheet of every month, they'll be using fronts and backs. So I had to get really creative because I didn't want you to have to get a lot of supplies. But to help stretch this, you're definitely going to want to have some coordinating cardstock. So if you have the kit, you did get the Simple Stories. The Hey Crafty Girl goes perfect. They did not have coordinating cardstock with this one, but we'll have the gold and the green, and you'll have 6 sheets, and then you'll have a pink and a green. And it just really worked well with this album. So whatever you use, you just want 6 sheets of another coordinating paper. And I would really suggest you don't cut ahead because I use this paper to where we have like enough left for some cards, but not a lot. Then you'll have your 6x8 paper pad, and this is where it's going to work perfect for these things. It gives us that whole picture. So I did use them. And I didn't use magnets. I'm using clips because, see, I want to be able to clip news articles or whatever that's going on that day. Look at this one. Don't you love it? It's the truck. So we'll be using that in a lot of places. So we'll also be using, this is where Art, love it. We're going to use some of that. This is where you're going to also have your additional coordinating cardstocks come from, are actually on the 6x8. Debbie, there is a link. I wonder if Sally's out there. Maybe she'll get it for us. You'll have the 6x8 paper pad. Then you're going to have these adorable, I love these enamel dots. Then we have a couple, you're going to have a couple of different things here. This one is the bits and pieces, ephemera bits and pieces. And this one too. Now, all of this is separate. So if you've already bought some of it, then you definitely can, you can purchase this all separate. And I used both the ephemera and the journaling. Just kind of giving ideas of some of the cute things here. Look at that bicycle. Love the bicycle. So we'll be using that. And I just put it in my little carry case here. Now this one are the journaling bits and pieces. So we use these, we used this one too. And I do wish that they would just put these together and make one big pack and let us, you know, pay a little extra, but they don't. But I used a lot of these in here too. Okay, so I've already separated those. Then these things are fabulous. Yes, we have some more kits. All this does come in your kit. And I didn't open this all the way because I want to show you. So we'll be using some of these, and we'll be using some of the cutouts on the paper sheets. Let me see if I can in Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations, that's our group on Facebook. And I did post, I'm going to get you the links here. I did post a discount code in the group. So just head on over, ask to be a member. And one thing you want to do is answer the questions if you want to become a member in the group. Because if you don't, you won't be approved by the administrators. Now, tomorrow we're going to be having a few more games and things for gift certificates to the store. So our designers, I know, have already posted a couple of tutorials. There you go, Sally. But anyway, these are in order from January, October, November, and then December. So you kind of want to keep them separate. I do anyway, so I don't get them all mixed up. You don't have to join again, Linda. You're already in the group. Okay. These are all 3x4s. These are a little different than the cut aparts on the sheets. So these are more of our months and journaling ones, and they're really great. They have a lot of journaling that you're going to be able to use on the back. So these guys, I separate too, so that I don't get them, you know, all mixed up with each other. And if you want to keep this as a reference, then you'll be able to look to the back here. And I don't think this link is working very well. You'll be able to definitely see these on the back. Okay. I don't know. My links aren't working. It's under National Scrapbook Day. And then here we have, again, your months, and we're going to be using some of these on and off. I am trying to get this there. I'm trying to get this link up. I'm not having much luck today. Nothing wants to work. Here, let me do it this way. And Sunday, Bobby will be posting hers. I know why it's not working, everybody. Woohoo! I'm fixing it right now. Thank you for your patience with me. The link I posted doesn't work. There we go. Oh Lord, help my brain, right? There you go. There's the right code. Okay, now just so you know, if you are just now ordering this, the video stays recorded because some of these will not go out till tomorrow. We've already had one pickup, so don't fret. You'll still be able to make it. Let's get started. So, oh, and you also have your chipboards. We don't have to really worry about any of this today. What we're going to do is we are going to make the cover and we're going to make our pages according to the cutting guide that I posted. And so we're going to have our cover completed. We will do this later. So when we get going, this is where you're going to be able to customize your cover. My favorite time is fall, so I chose fall elements. And again, I chose my favorite things. You're going to be able to also tailor this to your favorite things. What do you mean that's the collection kit? No, I just posted the kit, the whole kit, the whole thing right there. You're going to be able to, again, I love March for flying kites. I love Christmas. And I love Valentine's Day only because I get to spoil my grandkids. September and October are my favorite months. So you're going to make your cover how you want to tell your story. Okay? Sally. I'm going to put this in Messenger for you. There you go. Okay, let's get going. So to start with, if you have a cutting guide, you can follow along. Like I said, we're going to number 1 through 6. Make sure you add pages, 6 of them, 8 by 12. So you're going to have 2 pieces of chipboard that are 6.5 by 8.5. You're welcome. One that's 3 by 8.5. That's the size of this album. And we're going to start by adding our score tape sheets. Oh, you'll have these in your kit too. I like to use our sheets of score tape sheets that we sell at Country Craft Creations. And all I do is place this right on top. This saves you a lot of time and brings the joy back to making your covers. Now, if you're new and you haven't seen this way created on one of my tutorials, this will be a great new learning thing for you. Just using a box cutter, or if you have a blade. I should say it's very sticky. Or you can go ahead and attach, but not yet. You have to prepare your chipboard either with your score tape around the edges or if you're going to use glue, which if you're using art glitter glue is just fine. Then you'll wait to add your glue. You don't want to add it yet because it'll just dry up. So this will take 2. And save your backing. Also, these are great if you have little ones that love to do stickers because you can reuse this. See this? And you can add your score tape pieces back on. But saving it is great for those little hands that like to have stickers that can come off and on and off and on that they like to do all day long. So, yes, this is going to also save your hands. And it just makes things so much nicer. And it's, thank you for the brain fog. Yes, I understand. Then we're just going to add this leftover piece here. See, I like to keep my bigger pieces. I always use up my smaller pieces first. That code is on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. And it's all, you have to use caps, Ruth. It's NSD 2020. NSD 2020. And it will expire Sunday at 5 p.m. So my spine is ready. And my back and front cover is ready. To see how quick that is? Goes really quick. And that is the National Scrapbook Day code for 10% off. And it is good through the, Sunday at 5 p.m. Now, your kits will ship out, like I said, as soon as possible, but we have been shipping them since like April 13th. So just so you know, you'll have time to go back and definitely finish your tutorial. Okay, since those are ready, number 2, if you're following along with your cutting guide that is in the kit, cardstock to wrap chipboard. The reason I numbered mine 1 through 6 for my piles of paper. It helps me to keep things a little more organized. And I learned that from Sandy on our design team, but she uses alphabets, and it just helps so much. So you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock. I'm going to use black this time. I used ivory on the original one, but I wanted to see how it looks with black. So you can use any color. And you need 2 sheets that are 8.5 by 10.5. And a good way to remember, you just need it 2 inches wider and 2 inches longer than the chipboard. Then you need another sheet of cardstock that is 6 by 10.5. So once again, 2 pieces, 8.5 by 10.5, and then 6 by 10.5. My little trusty spacers. We're going to start with our big pieces first. I have a new setup in my office, and then backwards. So this is just 1 inch. This is just some lightweight chipboard. This is my newfangled bed neck spacer that I absolutely love, because if it falls apart, you just cut new 1 inch strips. I need an inch on this side in it because it's going to give me an inch all the way around, nice and neat. And I don't have to use a ruler. Make sure everything's up in the corner. And I do have scoreboards on the website. We are just wrapping the chipboard. Whoops. And we're just getting started, Pamela. I mean, on our wrapping of our chipboard. That's my first piece. I'm going to go ahead and do it with my second piece. Again, I just like to put my cardstock on my cutting board, my Score Pal. Oh, the new windows? Well, it might be hard to see. It's just our other windows when we had the house built. Our house it's really only 15 years old, but they were vinyl and they were falling apart because we faced the sun and they couldn't fix them anymore. So we got fiberglass windows. Okay, everything's nice and tight. And down goes the chipboard. And just like that, it's beautifully centered. You don't have to do any scoring. You don't have to do any marking. It's all done with that one piece of chipboard. Now, our spine's a little different. Remember, if you've been making this with me for the last couple of months, I changed it. No, not for Butterby. Her prices are so good. She doesn't need a discount code. So Butterby Scraps has the beautiful charms, but it's for countrycraftcreations.com. I like to have that 1.5 inches on each side. That's why this is 3 inches wider. So always cut your spine piece if 3 inches wider. It just lays much nicer. But you have to have a 1.5 inch spacer. Again, just a leftover piece of chipboard. But I only need 1 inch at the top and bottom. So I'll use my 1 inch spacer at the top. And anything that is a time saver, and that also just makes it so much easier that you're not having to spend money on tools, or that I'm not having to spend money on tools, because I have to buy things too. I love this. Like I said, you lose it, you throw it away, you just got a new one. Okay. And you guys, you might hear some beeping. We still have the electrician working, and we better not lose any electricity, because now we've got some outlets that won't work. We don't know if it was from our earthquake or what, but it's driving us crazy. I just want to make sure that is flat. I do want my art glitter glue, and I do use score tape for this one. Score tape and glue. Sorry if you're hearing the beeping. All right, let's start with folding the chipboard across the top. Always burnish that. I just like to make sure everything's up against that chipboard edge. The sides. Now the sides, we're going to do a couple of different things. So if you're not familiar with this, you don't have to create your album cover this way. You can do it any way you want, by the way. You can do it however you're used to it, or how, your other ways. This is not a must to this project, but turn this over and you kind of see it's not nice and smooth, but we're going to fix that. Plus we want to, this is a hinge, so I'm going to fold it right over. This is going to be the working part of our cover. And we want this to move. So by telling it, kind of pre-programming the paper, it will move. Again, now you can kind of see it's nice and smoothed out compared to that side. Just don't push too hard. That always worries me. I went through. So, yes, I have a sweater on because today it dropped down to, do you see that? Do you see what I did, guys? It dropped down to unbearable temperatures. So I have to recut that. That's what happens when we do things live. Lynn, I have not. Nope, I haven't found any at all. But I use them, but they're not as nice as the Walmart brand used to be. Comments aren't showing, Jan. You might have to use your scroll down. Oh, are they really? So Pamela, you like the Viva paper towels? They are light cloth. So okay, everybody, go run to your stores right now. Get the Viva. I've tried coffee filters. And I have trouble. They're just not absorbent, but some people do really like them. So the best thing to always do, try it and see if you like it. Oh, yes. I did have to wrap my paper off. Hello. I had to rip my spine piece off because I pushed too hard and I went right through my cardstock. And very fixable. I put my spacers away. Let me grab them. Again, I need the 1.5 on the side. Yeah, I'm going to get me some Viva and some Kleenex. Okay, don't let this fall. It will stick permanently to wherever it falls. Okay. Sorry about our little setback, but it happens in crafting. I'm a lead. I do that, and I try not to. I try to be very careful. I always go through them. All right, let's try this again. Speaking of picking up glitter, I was working with glitter, and my black paper is picking it up. Okay. Be a little more gentle here. And I just fold it over. Burnish. But you can still see how much nicer that looks. Just be gentle. Oh, Viva Las Vegas. Oh, yes. Okay. Now see, we've got that where it wants to bend. Wants to bend. Wants to bend. Okay. If you haven't made this before, this is where it's a little different. Well, the whole thing's a little different, isn't it? See these squares? And we're going to go from this corner to this corner. So you're going to just nip it off. Don't try to be perfectly straight. It's okay because we're going to be cutting some more. Okay. Just from corner to corner. Not this corner to that corner. You need to come to this outside corner. If you get that space rocket look, you're good. I'm so glad you're here, Linda. Okay. Outside corner to inside corner. Hi, Cheryl. I'm going to turn this over. I'm glad you made it. So for today, we did post a discount code on Scrapbookers. Tomorrow, we'll have some gift certificate prizes and games. And we're going to have some halftime entertainment from Sally. And she's also going to be doing a kids project for Mother's Day, I think on Sunday. I'll double check that time with her. So we do have some fun things, but again, watch the beginning. I'm doing a little different than a online crop like we do for New Year's Eve, just because the time ran out to really organize that. But we'll be doing a Christmas in July online crop like we always do, getting ready for Christmas. So I'm just going to clean up these edges one more time to get any tape off. I'm not really cutting into the paper. Let's see, do I find? Oh, I don't know if taping before you trim is easier. I just know it's how I do it. So you don't have to do any of this the way I'm doing. Just we all have our different idiosyncrasies, basically. So we it's not going to turn out any different if you tape first or tape after. It is easier though for me to show on video, Pamela, to tape it after so that you can see exactly where I'm cutting. If you're having to see through the tape, a lot of times you won't see where I'm actually cutting. So that's one of the reasons. And now I'm just habit. What can I say? I know, I can't wait for a retreat. So my art glitter glue is going to go along the edge right here. Oh, just feel my bottom. I do like to use the art glitter glue with the score tape on this, just in the center. Don't saturate your score tape. It will come up. But this gives you just a nicer hold, I think. It just works. It has worked much better. But always put your glue along that chipboard, softens your cardstock, and then it just folds over beautifully with no cracking. Oh yeah, I do see all comments. I have 2 computer screens. I have a phone, and I can see Facebook comments. I can see YouTube comments. Yes, because I have the magical screen here. No. Yes, leave the family alone all weekend. I made lots of leftovers, so we just want to now repeat to the bottom. We'll try and make it entertaining for you. You guys know that with Sally here, it will be very entertaining. And of course, Jennifer Palmer, I'm telling you, our design team members are so generous and loving. And there's some, I mean, you just grow really close. Now, Jennifer, I have to say thank you. She's always available, not only to my request of the Cricut Maker and my when I'm stuck, but she just made another file. If you've been following the Timeless mini album, she made a file so that you can do this spine. She answers all of our Cricut Maker questions, or any Cricut. She's so knowledgeable, and I know that they'll be kind of around on the group this weekend. So if you have any questions, just throw them out there. But give the girls time, because they work from home too, so it may take them just a little bit more to answer. But I do want to give a shout out to our design team members for being there and for helping when you guys need us. Wonder if we put the glue, if by chance we score through the, no, it won't fix it, Linda. I've tried that and it doesn't. Okay, we have some cutting to do. So we're back again here at the top. Oh, you notice I took my bone folder, I bend the chipboard up and flatten that out. Okay, you want it to be flat. Plus you want it to be beautifully layered over that chipboard. Oh, Jennifer is extremely talented with the Cricut, yes. She's our own myth maker, just like Jennifer, like the other maker, but she's our own. Scissors. You just want to put your scissors against your chipboard. Your chipboard is going to stop your scissors from going like this. Okay, you just set your, see, I can't go any further no matter how I push. Just tilt them in and angle your cut. Again, your chipboard is always your stopper because you can't go further, so you won't cut too much off. Now, if you have any sticking over the edge of this chipboard, all you have to do is trim it. And you can trim it straight across. Yeah, Jennifer will force you to love her. She's a character in person. I can't wait for you guys to meet her at one of the retreats. Okay, again. Once you get used to your boundaries of cutting this, you won't need to so much rely on your chipboard as your stopper. Oh no, Pamela. And that's what that should look like. These should freely move depending on the cardstock you're using. If you're using the artisan cardstock, I'm going to fold this over one more time and lightly burnish it. If you're using the artisan cardstock, you shouldn't have any cracking as long as you're not being forceful. That's done. Let's move on. We're going to do these guys kind of the same way. Just fold over that. The camera. Fold over your cardstock over your chipboard and burnish. Oh, did Kim pop in? Now I do this because sometimes you'll see it sticks out a little bit, and I like to have everything just nice and smooth. If you've ever put on a military uniform, everything has to be straight, and that's where I get my OCD on that. That's probably the only OCD I have, is that everything is nice and tight. Now, once again, because we burnished, we made these squares. We're going to cut these squares out. Okay, you're going to cut them right to the chipboard. Just follow your score lines. No special tools needed that way. And I showed this before. So this comes from box making. So if you were to make a box, see, this would come up like this, and that would go like so. And that's when I was making a box and realized, why are we not doing this to our chipboard? Because I'm sick of getting holes. And this will put a stop to that. You won't ever have to worry about having holes in the corner where your chipboard shows through. So I'm going to now fold my long side down. Just like we angled before, we're just going to keep a straight line but angle. Again, keep a straight line and angle. We want to do that to all four sides. You'll see if it happens to stick over. And now we'll repeat with the top. Oh, Jennifer. Jennifer can relate. Oh, really? Now see, my husband, he'll eat anything. Even stuff that he says he wouldn't eat, he now eats because I don't tell him I put it in the food, and he absolutely loves it. Hi, Diane. Now, one thing that you're going to notice when you fold this over and you bring this down, see how nice that is? If you haven't made these. And score tape. I use both again. We're just going to add it to the outside edges. It's going to be that, I call it the quick grabber. It's the quick grabber while the glue is drying that we're going to put along the edge. And then I also know that everything's going to lay down flat. Okay. Now we're going to remove the score tape backing. Hi, Jackie. Thank you for popping in. Don't forget, this will be recorded. You can just come right back on this evening, make your cover, and be ready for tomorrow. We're going to make our cover and our pages. We're not going to decorate it, of course. And then we will create our flaps and everything all day tomorrow. It's going to be so great. So art glitter glue or whatever you like to use along the edges. Right next to that chipboard. Now you can also use your fingers. You just want to squish that glue. Oh, and let me remind you on StreamYard. With StreamYard, you'll see a link. You have to click on that link and give permission for your comments to show up through Facebook. Otherwise, it just says Facebook user. I won't know you're there. Like I said, just be Facebook user. Just give StreamYard permission for your comments to show. Again, just fold that right over. Now, one last thing before I do fold down the top and bottom. I just want to double check to make sure nothing is sticking out over the edges. And as long as it's not, because you can trim it if you need to. Add a little extra glue just right there. Yeah, I see your comments. And Linda, and I see any, well, no, I do see comments. I just don't see your name. It just says Facebook user. Well, thank you, Cheryl, for coming in. Cheryl shared a really awesome tip with me. I'll have to share with you guys with the graphic 45 dies and die cuts that come in the pack. You know, the beautiful cloth that comes in the dies. It matches the die that comes with your tags. So you can use it for that too. Okay, that one is all done. We're going to do that with the other cover, and then we're going to put this all together. Yeah, I have, as I've been using this new wrap method, I've changed things a little bit. So if you watched it from the original, you'll notice I've done some sizing changes, and that evolves as I make more and more of these albums. And, oh, I can see your name, Jan. You must have clicked on it, so you're okay. And so, yeah, everything that I'm teaching you here, and you're going to see with the hinges, has evolved from me just creating more and more albums and finding a different way that I think works. So I share it with you. But some of the techniques are still the old way, where I cut out the squares. Yes, have a good lunch. I only grabbed a coffee because I knew early this morning I ran and got my hair cut because she opened. We had to wear a mask, of course, because I knew the electricians were here, so I couldn't work. So I haven't eaten, but I'm going to eat after. So we're going to fold this over once again. Hi, Sarah. I hope you guys are doing well over in the UK also. I know we're doing okay in Utah. Today they let the floodgates open, and well, the whole world's been out anyway. So, but it was great to actually go into a beauty salon and see the girls and buy products. Oh, that was so exciting it was early this morning, but I'm like, I got to get a haircut before all of this. Oh, Judy, I needed one too. I was FaceTiming with Bonnie yesterday, and she's like, girl, when did your hair get so long? Bonnie, since I couldn't have a haircut. Okay, I'm just going to, again, just check my cutting. Shouldn't have to go back and touch anything up. I was so desperate. I was even looking for someone who would come to my home. But then when they said, no, we're opening the beauty shops tomorrow, I was like, I'm on it. I called and got my appointment. Okay. Also, in our Facebook group, Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations, all the tutorials get put into what we call the Units tab. So on the Units tab, I will be putting the video and this cutting guide. So be sure if you come looking for it, that's where it's going to be. Tomorrow morning at 9:45 Mountain Standard Time is when I will be going live tomorrow. And I'll remind you at the end of the show too, because I'll be going live at 9:45. We'll take a break for almost 2 hours so that we can have our halftime entertainment and games. Not a strict schedule because it depends on where we're at. If we're in the middle of doing a page, of course I won't stop. But we got to stop and eat lunch and refill our coffee, our tea. No afternoon wine. No. Yes, road trip to Utah. Come to my house. Oh, hi, Kim. Okay, once again, my art glitter glue. I usually do put it here. I did forget on the other one. It is usable on there, but you got to use it at the time of. I'm not manning the warehouse, and unfortunately, the order might get shipped before I'm able to get to that. So, Brenda, I'll message you after. Okay, art glitter glue. Oh, Peggy, thank you. You're so sweet, but oh no, it was a mess. Did you have a nice picnic with your mom though after? Today it's raining, so we had some glue. I'm not really worried about the glue smushing out on my cover because we're going to cover it. Oh, well, thank you. Well, you know what? I have adult ADD too. And I'm sure most of you know. I've had it all my life, of course. But because of my age, they never treated it. It was when I married my husband. He's the one who taught me step by step. Because he came home. We had 4 children very close. Very close. And I'd have a baby in the arm, a baby in the stroller, trying to do laundry. It was piled high to the ceiling. I had dishes. One day he came home. We were stationed at Nellis, and he's like, hold my hand. And he took me step by step. He's like, you're going to start in one circle and go around and not stop till that circle is finished. So it really taught me, he's taught me a lot over the last 36 years. Because, like you, your name is coming through as beautiful. And I can't find the comment. Anyway, yes. I'm glad you understand. So there's our 2 covers. And really, this takes less than an hour. I even made a mistake. Oh, Peggy, that's beautiful. So we're going to put this together now. So I want to move my cutting board. I'm going to start with this piece. Let's go ahead and bend those back. We're going to add score tape to this outside edge. Score tape, again, it's your quick grabber. I'm going to go to my 1/2 inch. We're going to cut it anyway. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch with this too. I do want 2 pieces. This is wider. When I was just doing an inch. Okay, Lala, thank you. That's better. Oh, yeah, mine were all really close in age. And, you know, during school, back in the 60s and 70s, they didn't acknowledge the children with ADD. They just put us as we talk too much. Well, I always talk too much, but. So now I'm just going to trim that up so I get rid of my score tape. It's very important you get rid of it because you don't want any of this to show. I was the clown. I was named the clown of the class, but it was my ADD. I couldn't stay focused. And yes, I had some children that way, 2 of them. But that's okay. Because they're great kids. Yeah, well, I still do play outside all day. Well, I play all day. Glitter, it hides. Okay. This may look confusing if you're not used to this. We're going to be sitting this right outside. Outside. I saw a comment. We're going to put this right on top on the outside of this hinge. And there is no spacing. Remember, I used to put a 1/4 inch space. No spacing. It's going right up next to it. Watch. This will even probably flip up. And that's what you want. I don't remember my mom yelling. I just knew we played so hard. Hunger. We just knew. It was always dinner time at a certain time, and you just were there. You didn't eat. The dishes were cleaned up, and then you were told, too bad. This space right here by the hinge, don't add any glue. That was part of the problem with this design. The glue was mushing up into our hinge, and it looked terrible. But the glue gives it that extra, especially art glitter glue, like permanency that score tape doesn't have. But then score tape gives it that quick hold. Now see how that is? It's flipping up. That's what you want. Now, because we went 1.5 inches, it extends past this 1 inch right here, and it just lays so much flatter. Yep, that sounds like me. You know what? That sounds like most crafters. Lays beautifully flat because we've extended these edges. Now, my chipboard, sometimes this happens. You might see one is a little bit longer, and that just happens. Let me show you when it's laying flat. But when you close it, you'll notice it comes together. So don't get really. Yes, I just about got my mouth taped too. It's a little bit shorter. Don't let that freak you out. It happens. It's the way you lay it, but when you bring it together, it just kind of works. But I make sure my top and bought my top or my bottom. It don't matter. Just make sure one of them matches. Okay. Because right now we don't really have a top or bottom of our album. It's all going to depend on which way it looks best. Glitter. Let's see. I shut the door after I put this on. I'm going to have to let Wilbur out the door. I need to get a doggy door on that door. Okay. Flip it over. Clean up any of your glue. And I'm going to open the door for Wilbur.
What time? There you go.
Okay. Wilbur's all taken care of. Make sure it's all down. Hi, Sophie. How are you? I fold this over. Give it a burnish. And there's your cover. Now, see what I mean? It comes together very nice. Laying flat, it gives you a different view. And then sometimes, too, it just depends on how you feel. You might want to just take your clothespin, if you have clothespins, which you got to have in your craft room. So you can just let that sit for a minute if you need to. Now your album feels very, see, it's very flimsy. You cut out the corner of the spine. You cut out the corner of the spine. Hold on, Diane. Did you cut out the corner? This is the one I ripped off and threw away. Diane, did you cut this square out? Like this on this little piece? Oh yeah, clothespins. Or did you cut it like this? Okay, this is the correct way from outside to in. This is the not correct way, but you're going to still be okay. Well, you'll be okay. Turn this over. Here's the thing. The reason I fold it over with this whole thing, it just kept a clean cut edge. Hope that makes sense. See, this is now an open raw edge. This is going to keep it a clean. Let me do this. See the difference? So for those of you, here's this little piece as if it's not glued down. And on my hinge now, it's nice and clean and closed. Over here, you're just going to have an open edge. No, the first one, you're okay. You just won't have, you're going to have a raw, what I call a raw edge. This one has, see, because of this, has that finished edge on there. And that's where it's going to show here, but it's okay because we're going to cover this now. And that's also going to give us the extra support that our album is needing. Okay, so that next piece on your cutting guide is your inside piece is 6 by 3 3/8. So this is 6 inches wide by 3 3/8. And I'll be honest with you, you can make this the whole length if you want. Yeah, you're covering it up, so it's not going to be a disaster. This is going to cover up that raw edge, Diane. So don't fret it. Just keep going. You're going to be fine. That's the nice thing. There's always a way to fix it. Okay. Again, I want to use my score tape sheets, but this is 6 inches wide, 8 3/8 long, because our album covers 8 1/2. So I went 1/8 of an inch shorter in the length. Well, the place photo stamps here are being made. They're made by Scraps of Love, and she's also we've designed a new one, but we'll have our old place photo stamp in stock in about 10 days. Plus, I think it's one of our giveaways over National Scrapbook Weekend. We have one, and they will be here in about 10 days. So whether you want to use your score tape sheet, thank you, Judy. It is 6 by 8 3/8. Use your score tape sheet. You can use score tape. I suggest you go this way so you don't have one of the long ones get stuck in the hinges and buckle your paper. That's the reason for that. You can use your glue, which I don't recommend because it softens in those creases when you bend your album, but totally up to you. Now, using my cutter, use your hand, push your cardstock towards your blade. Okay, I'm keeping pressure down and I'm pushing the paper against my blade, so you're going to see it move a little bit, but that's what keeps it straight on that edge. We'll put that away for another project. Just practice. Well, no, it won't have the truck because that's so delicate. We couldn't get it into a stamp. See that? Use your hands and push towards your knife blade. All ready to be put in our book. Hi, Darlene. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Wilbur's not happy with this rainy day because he can't be outside in the mud. I'm not bathing him again. So you're going to hear him pacing around down here. Okay, keep your fingers back there. And put her down. I'm having some problems with the shirts. The company that was going to make them for us didn't make them and aren't making them. Linda, the cutting guide is on Scrapbookers. Hello. Happy National Scrapbook Day. I'm so glad that this is an actual day. So I'm just going to smooth this all down. Whatever you want to use. Now we just need to make our creases. That's probably not enough. Make sure your edges are down. Whatever you like to do with your covers, being gentle so we don't go through, because I don't want to tear this apart. But here's the beauty of this, because I've had to do this. I think I did it on the original one. If I was to make a mistake, I would take my razor blade and just cut this off. Then I would remake this part and put my hinges here, and I'll have to show you. So this is quite easy to fix if there's a boo-boo. But I'm going to fold mine down because I'm using the artisan. So check your cardstock first. Make sure you can do this. See? Down. Again, we're going to be covering that. So And you'll be able to feel it. Okay. There's our cover. And right there, you're going to think it's not, I promise, nothing's going to come up if you've used glue and score tape. It's really tight. But you could always squeeze if you have any loose spots, a little bit of adhesive in there, but be warned, it's going to probably show and you're not going to like it. That's why we went to the score tape and glue, but there it is, and it lays perfectly flat. Cool. So now let's make our hinges. And I love it because you know what? Almost every album now comes out perfect. Well, the construction. We have other problems along the way. So now we're going to go to our hinge. Your hinge is 8 inches by 8.5. This is not the right paper. Turn my pages over. 8 by 8.5. And here's the thing. Remember, when you're dealing with this, which I've done many a times. So if you're scoring with me, your pages are going to be 8 inches long. So you do not want the 8.5 at the top. If you score the 8.5, this is going to be a 1/2 inch longer than your pages because you don't want that. Your pages are 8 inches long. Or maybe I'm telling you backwards. No, I'm telling you backwards. Lordy be. Okay. Take your album, lay your paper inside. It's 8 inches. Gives us a quarter at the top and the quarter at the bottom. So we do want the 8.5 at the top of our scoreboard. So if the 8 inches is at the top of your scoreboard, it's wrong. Turn your paper. Very simple with this hinge. It's just like we did on the ocean blue. Oh, it sure is, Sophie. Well, happy International Scrapbooking Day. It is now Saturday over in Australia. We're going to score 1/2 inch all the way to the end. You're going to end at 8. So you guys ready? 8.5 inches is at the top of my scoreboard. You're going to score at 1/2 inch. 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5 1/2, 6, 6 1/2, 7, 7 1/2, and 8. No wings, no 1/4 inch, just wonderful hinges that are made with the 1/4 inch spacing on our hinge side so that we have room, but every page is going to lay naturally flat. And here we go. Your first 2 1/2 inch pieces. Just fold those together. Two together make a hinge. Barbara, there, the cutting guide, there it is. That's what we did today. The cutting guide will be given each day, or it'll be on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. See, Lisa, that's what happened. You need to go 1/2, 1. I left off 1 and 1/2. Sorry, you guys. This is why I don't charge for the tutorial part. So on your, says hinge cardstock, you need to add. You got 1/2 right there. Add 1 and 1.5. So it's okay. If you've already done this, all you need to do is go back now and score at 1 and 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6. Yeah, I left off 1 and 1 1/2. Don't ask me how. Thank you, Lisa, for telling us. But that's okay. You just go back and score those now. 1/2 inch is my gusset. See these two right here? We're going to pinch those together. Like to burnish as I go. And then I like to pinch those together and push down towards myself and away. There's our 2 hinges. Well, yes, get to your craft table. You want to craft. Again, we need a gusset. So the next 2 we want to pinch together. Towards you and then away from you, however you like to do it. Gusset, and then the next 2 just pinch that score line together. One reason I like to burnish that down as I go, I'll show you on the next one. There's my gusset. Now, if you burnish the wrong side, that's okay. I do this because then I can keep track on my, see your edge? You're going to notice if your edge is straight. And if that edge is straight, then your hinges are going to be straight. Now we want to pinch this together. And don't forget, you'll still get free shipping on orders $60 or more. And you'll get your Wilbur stamps. And we need a gusset. And then our last set, we just pinch together again. And these 2 are folded completely over. So now we're going to turn this over. You'll now see you have the mountains here. And then you should, the first one won't, you'll go, these 2 just get, that first valley you're going to actually pinch together, and then mountain, valley, mountain, valley. That is how it will look. Okay. So on your first set, I'm just going to flatten mine out. I do like to use wet adhesive. And I do like I said, I like the wet adhesive because if your hinges, for whatever reason, 1 centimeter, yeah, equals half. If it ever comes loose for any reason, which sometimes they will if you don't add enough, all you have to do is take your glitter glue, stick it down in there, and add more adhesive, and you're good to go. Plus, if you have to rip this album apart, let me show you something, which I've had to do. Say something happens, all I have to do is take my razor blade. I cut this off. And then I still have my end pieces here. And then you can take the hinges right off and add it to a new book. Now, you have to have that gusset. So in the next valley here, if you guys aren't familiar with our Facebook group, Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations, be sure to join. That's where we post all of the announcements of new tutorials, what's going on, and our design team. We have 13 designers doing free tutorials. That's where you'll find their work and where they're posting it. And you'll be the first to know on sales. But please, if you do join, you have to answer a couple of questions. The admins won't let you join unless you do. But and it's just a way to make sure we're having scrappers in our group, you know. We also, on the web page, if you go to About Me or About Us, you will see that we have a section for all of our designers. It's under the About Us, and all of our design team members and our blogs where you can find us. And I'm going to post it right here for you. And those are the design team members of Country Craft Creations. So in our next valley, and we do a lot of work alongside Authentique. and guest designers and just lots of stuff for you guys. And we do it because we want you to craft. We want you to enjoy crafting. We don't want it to be hard. We don't want it frustrating, because we've all been there. I have thrown tape guns off my deck. It's a place where we can help each other just enjoy and love crafting. Remember, always leave a gusset and go into this valley and fold that together. Then I do bend it over. And a lot of times when we're making hinges, maybe for the first time, oh, we're just really nervous of them. Don't be. And don't be afraid of your paper, especially if you're using my artisan cardstock, because it's linen. Again, we have a gusset because you can be pretty rough on it. And you want to be. You need to burnish it so it knows where to go. It's like, think of it as your fabric. If you sew, your fabric does not create a crease in it until you take your iron to it. And this is what we're doing. We're burnishing, but we're ironing. We are telling our crease where we want it to be. I said, in order to do that, now this one we can just fold right over. We have to use a little pressure with it. How many of you have iron paper dollar bills as a kid because you want them to look brand new? Well, that's what this tool is. This is your paper iron. Just think of it that way. Okay, now it's kind of flat, huh? Looks funny. So now we're going to pop those babies up. Get any glue off the edges, but our pages will cover it all the way. And then I go back through and I do the same thing. Now my hinges are pretty ready. We're good. So the next thing, we're going to put in our book, but let me tell you right here. So they're going to fit. Oh, and this is going to be the other thing when you put this in, you're going to flatten these hinges. Just flatten them, overlap them. Because then you're going to be able to see exactly where you're putting your hinges. And I have to admit, mine's a little narrowed. I can tell they're a little off, but it's not going to affect my book at all. I'm just going to pull them a little bit apart. I do want to mat the back of this. So what I did for the matting of this one, I used one of our sheets. So we're going to do our first cutting, whatever you want to use to, oh, I forgot to show you these stickers. Aren't they cute? That comes in your collection kit. I did use my August. I used the back side to mat here. So I took it from this bottom piece because I wanted to preserve all this. So that's going to be one thing with cutting. If you're using this kit, you'll kind of have to follow my cutting unless you want to do your own thing, which is okay too. So with this, I'm going to cut face up so that you can see what it is that I'm cutting. And our spine is 3 inches. So I'm just going to put it right before that 3 inches. It's going to be almost 3 inches, just a hair short. So when I cut it, this is what you'll be left with, because we're going to be using these. Then you can set that aside. Now I can turn it over. Our album cover's 8.5. We're going to cut this at 8 3/8. And with this paper, you can do inking, but a lot of times I've noticed, especially with Simple Stories, some of their lines. This is one I did use some inking on. And some of the papers I didn't. It depends on if it had that bright white core. So you don't have to, but you can, because I'm using black paper. You can use a scrap, yes, but oh yeah, and it does. I'm going to turn this over backwards so I don't get a lot of the black ink on that side. If you want to just use a scrap from, say, something in your stash, yes, you can do that. If you're having a hard time cutting apart your cut apart. Now see, I have some distress on that edge, but because I did the back side, it mostly stayed here and it didn't get over on my main paper, and that's what I didn't want it to do. And down that goes right on the center. If you find it is too wide because you don't want anything in your hinges, you can go ahead and trim it some more, just a little bit. Yeah, this is what you'll cut because I cut off the bottom. You need to keep the rest of this. If you're following along. Okay, make sure you get those edges down so your glue doesn't pop out of the sides. And with glue, you really do need, what size, Judy? So I cut it just a hair short of 3 inches. I just stopped before the 3 because our spine is 3 inches, and then it's 8 3/8. 8 3/8 long. And if you ever have wallpapered, you know you need to spread that paste around. That's what makes your paper lay flat and look nice. Okay, we're now going to put our hinges in. Like I said, somewhere mine decided to go a little cockeyed. My bottom for some reason is a little wider than my top. Don't know. I'm going to spread these a little bit so they're even, because I'm re-gluing. I'm pushing my hinges basically on top of each other. See that? You do it however's easiest for you, of course. I forgot to cover my spine in an album I'm making. Cheryl, what album is it? You forgot to cover your spine? Cover it how? With what? Okay, remember, you've got to have hinges folded back because you've got no 1/4 inch here and you have no wings. Is it on this album? Because your album it has to have a spine. So I'm confused. So I'm grabbing those outer hinges and kind of lay them flat so I can see what I'm doing here. So I can keep things somewhat centered. Nice thing about glue, don't be afraid to pull on those hinges if you need to straighten them out, which I just was able to do. Oh, you forgot to cover it? You know what? It's going to look okay. If you forgot to cover just with your pattern paper or with this piece that makes it strong. Oh, well, you didn't put anything over it, Cheryl? because it'll be bare and open. If I were you, I'd pull that hinge off. Don't worry about what's underneath it. Pull that hinge off and add a new piece of paper on top. Don't be afraid to pull your work apart. I do it all the time. If I had forgotten to put my matting back here, this black piece, I would rip this right off. Just take your bone folder and get it underneath there, loosen it up, and rip it off. Recover it, and you'll be just fine. Oh, especially when using glue. You might feel a bump there. Watch. Push this over. Pamela, you did it too? You know better. You already have the front inside cover done? Well, then you know what I would do? I'd keep going and see how it turns out, to be honest with you. Okay, there's my 6 hinges. Well, we have 6. You have 6 hinges, Lisa. So sometimes that will happen. Just here, refold it. I missed a spot there with glue. I think you'll be okay. Yes, your hinge is 8 inches long. I'm just gluing it down. Your hinge is 8 inches. Pre-scoring is 8 by 8.5. Okay, let's do our pages. We're going to do our pages, and that's where we're going to stop today. These are very simple to do, and they're very quick. You're going to love this. So you need 6. Yes, Candace, this would be very suitable for a baby album. You could do each page as a month. So these are 8 by 12. 8 by 12. Lisa, if you did your paper 8 by 8.5 and you only have 5, then just refold it. Don't throw it away. Just refold it. Fold those 2 together. Take your finger and keep, you may have to sometimes you have to re-burnish your folds. We're going to score each one of these. So these are 8 inches high, 12 inches wide. And you're going to score 6 to all 6 pieces. Oh yeah, everybody messes up, and it's a-okay. This paper, the artisan cardstock, we have it listed as 87 pounds, but it can vary. It's because it's of the linen and the way they make it and the way they press it. So it can be between 80 and 87 pounds. Yeah, score at 6 and score at 6. So all 6 pieces will be scored at 6 inches. 5. I've got one more over here. And no, I don't. So I have 6 pieces here, guys. Yes, I do. Okay, 8 by 12. 8 by 12. Score at 6. Oh, if you're just about finished, then I think you're going to be just fine. Okay, when doing these, we're going to fold it in half. Use your thumb and your finger so that they stay even, and you'll see why in a minute. Sometimes I put my whole hand down. Sometimes that burn, you got to kind of change that because you want these edges pretty even. Again, I always take my thumb, finger to hold it, and then my hand. Glue. Now we're getting glue. It flakes. Burnish. Okay. Just again, now the beauty of these pages, they are so versatile. They're not like a pocket page. They're going to be a pocket page where we have, and I forgot to tell you. So these do have an opening at the top, and they will fit, especially the graphic 45 tags, fit in there absolutely perfectly. Or you can make your own. And we'll probably make it with the black one, but I didn't put them in here. But you can also glue the whole thing shut if you don't want to have any tags at all. If you're done, I don't know. If you've done it like this, I don't know what you can do to reinforce the cover if you've got pages in there, other than you'll just have to go with it. I'm sorry, that's not what you wanted to hear, but now your page is the same height as your hinges. Okay. And here's what we're going to do. This is my back one. I'm going to flatten all those guys there. I'm laying this page down and I'm butting it right up next. So push. You won't go any further. Make sure your top and bottom are perfectly straight. Going to lay my hinge down. Whoops. Clean up that glue even though. Okay, my hinge is laying down. We're matched top to bottom. I am now butted against that hinge. I'm going to just fold my hinge over. Stay at the top so you don't get any glue oozing out the bottom. And I want to close this. Now, if you don't want to have that pocket at the top because you don't want to put anything in there, close it at the top too. Just run your glue here. Now, fold this over. Really burnish those glue edges. Now, if for any reason this did not, the glue, see my glue pretty much ran down, which is what I wanted. Oh, we got a little spot there. While the glue is wet, I can kind of push it to go. If not, no, I can take the tip and run it up through that seam, but we're okay. I'm just going to lay this flat. It's had little glue oozing there. And out the bottom. Just clean up your glue. Page 1. Page 2. Now we can work this way. Or you still can do it this way. It's totally up to you, but this way, I'm going to lay this down. Then my page, I'm going to be able to line it up. And with this, because we do put our pages down first, it doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter how you do it. You can also lay it right here. Glue it glue it, then flip it over, but you know, you got to make sure you're straight. That's the only thing. So I'm going to push my hinges to the left, lay my page on top of that last one. I just butt it up there. See, I like that I can actually now fit my page perfectly. Add my adhesive to the top. Once again, I'm going to butt that right up. Take the time to check your page alignment. Oh, hold on just a minute, you guys. I have to tell the warehouse. Okay, the girls in the warehouse just had a question. Okay, same thing. Keep your adhesive to the top so you don't have a mess down here at the bottom. And close your bottom. I threw my, oh, there it is. I threw my diaper wipe away. And now we're just going to close it up. Wait, the electricity works? Yes. Oh, yay! They got our electricity fixed. I now can use my flat iron. Turn it over. Again, if I had to, yeah, see, it's kind of loose there. Of course, I'm going to be messy with the glue because we're on camera. But we cover those hinges, so you're not going to see it anyway. Now, see how nice and flat? Page number 3. Same thing. Whoa. I think I just found my hinge that is really off. I did. Somehow, this one is my problem child. So, I'm going to show you what's going to happen. See, it's not even like, you can't tell to the naked eye that something's wrong with that hinge. But my page needs to be straight, right? So I'm going to turn the page, which you really can't see. I'm just adjusting it. So it's actually not going to be as far down on the hinge as it is up here, because this is the one, obviously, that I made the boo-boo on, but I still need it perfectly straight down here. So that's another thing that I just love about doing it this way. Our projects aren't totally ruined when there is, yeah, Sally is my problem child. When there's an issue with our hinges, which happens because we're not machines. So I'm going to line up the bottom, and I'm going to hold it while pushing that hinge down on the page. And you'll see here in just a minute. I know it's kind of hard to see on camera. That's why I love retreats, because we can do it hands-on with you. Our retreats, we do this hands-on with you. So you can't really tell how crooked this is until I lay this down. And you still really can't tell. It touches here, and then see it just kind of angles out, but you really can't tell. But if this was a regular pocket page, I would have ripped this hinge completely out. But the important thing is, see, my pages are perfectly lined up. Not perfectly lined up here, but that's okay. Because with all of the paper we put on and we do our hinges, no one is going to know unless they watch this tutorial. And I do love, though, when things go kind of wonky, then it gives you a chance to see that it's very fixable. Oops, that's what I meant about the glue. I don't know if you can see. And you're not going to see any of this, but now can you kind of, you still can't really see, but see there, now you'll be able to see a little better. But you're not going to see it because we actually have a flap that's going to sit there. That's going to cover it. A lot more versatile than if it was just the standard pocket page. Plus, you have to do all that work of folding. Put a piece on top. Is it straight? But see, my pages are straight. And this is what our eye looks to, is our pages being straight and lined up. So that's the important thing. But I can tell my hinges are definitely wonky. And it's because I was talking so much. Okay. Not worried about glue squishing out on the inside because it's not going to be seen. Oh, well, there's always mistakes, as you well know. It's just the way life is. Somebody scheduled a meeting for 4 p.m. on Friday? No. Glue on the top. I've shown this before. You can also close your page up higher. Add your adhesive here. Add it up here. Maybe you only want the short tags. See, my pages are so lined up. That's what makes me happy. Okay, and this is our last page, and this is where we stop for today. And I will be posting the rest of the cutting guide here in just a little bit. Oh, I'm telling you, the girls are fast. That's why I gave you guys the warning. I can't go back and adjust the percentage off codes because they're fast. Now, the only thing that there's going to be a delay on is if you order this kit, you won't see it go out till tomorrow or possibly Monday because they're being all hand put together and we've been shipping them since the 13th. So, but you'll have it to create this from the video being recorded. Oh, look at this. See how, look at your pages. Don't you just love it when that happens? Now, I always go back and just check, see if I have anything open, which you might have. So you want to just add some adhesive. So you can check them all. Yeah, that's definitely my wonky one. I can see that. Okay. Oh, yay. But clean up your glue. Art glitter glue does dry pretty clear. Now, if you have any troubles with the art glitter glue and maybe it didn't, just take your file once it's completely dry. And you can clean that right up. That's still a little tacky, but I'll get to it. So that is the first part of our National Scrapbook Day. Could you leave the page open as a flap? Yeah, you mean you could, Diane, but here's the thing, you're going to see your hinge. And then your hinge, when you just do one side, the chances maybe of this one tearing off, unless you put something on top of it. I don't know, but we did this in 2 hours. Okay. With all the talking, you can create a base. This is your base. You can create this base album in less than 2 hours. Could you imagine how many of these you could put together and have sitting on the shelf to grab for Christmas? Actually, Lynn, it's being delivered today. Oh, there's my gray haired mice. I now can go fix it. Tomorrow, and that cutting guide will be there. Sarah, this is just Beauty Secrets. It comes from my Sally's Beauty Supply Store. Love it. So tomorrow we'll be creating these flaps, and I'll have those all listed for you on the cutting guide. So if you get all those ready, they'll be ready to lay down. As you can see, in some areas we're going to use the cut apart. Some areas we're using the ephemera cards. You can tell the difference. And what I did is I kind of looked at them to see what other cut aparts I wanted to use. Definitely, the cut aparts, definitely the ephemera cards. You'll see the difference. They're a little more decorative, and we're going to add a few things to it. So yeah, mine is just a regular nail file. And also I had some phone calls, and we did see them coming into the store. So I will call you guys back in just a few minutes. But that is where we're at, and we're going to turn this into that tomorrow. So I can't wait. I'll see you tomorrow at 9:45 a.m. my time, which right now it's 2 o'clock Utah time, if that helps. And we will continue creating our National Scrapbook album for the best year that we're going to have for the rest of the year. Right, guys? Right. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Have your coffee, iced tea, whatever ready, and we're going to just hit it and keep working.